everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am looking at an old video of mine. It's 5 years old and it was my top 10 for life niche fragrance edition, and I really wanted to demonstrate how fickle fragrance reviewers can be, because there's definitely been some changes, and of course top 10 for life, well, shouldn't it mean for life? Obviously not when it comes to us fickle fragrance reviewers. And so I thought I would revisit that video and tell you what my top 10 for life are right now, which of course can be changed at any given moment. So let's get on to the very first one.
So here they are, my 10 niche fragrances for life, and chuck away the rest tag.
Morning. So in at number 10, this is a fragrance I can't see myself living without. It serves a purpose and I wear it quite often, and it is none other than Acqua di Parma's Colonia Essenza. I love this fragrance. Sometimes I crave this fragrance. It makes me feel clean and groomed to within an inch of my life, if that makes any sense. It's a really rounded citrus fragrance, but it just feels like a super concentrated citrusy melange, shall we say. It just smells so clean and it lasts all day long. It's very zesty and lively and refreshing, and it's also extremely professional, so I think it works great in the work environment. So that is my number 10 fragrance, Colonia Essenza. Right then, Colonia Essenza. I actually finished up the bottle. I didn't sell it, I didn't give it away. I used it all up, but I never replaced it, and I probably won't. I think it is an excellent freshie. It is a little bit unusual for a freshie as well. It has more depth, but I don't feel like I need it in my life. However, if one were to appear in my collection, I would be very happy and I would be using it from time to time, but it isn't a top 10 for life for me anymore. And instead I have gone for my 10. Number 10 is very new to my collection, hence why it's in at number 10, because this has the novelty factor right now. Who knows how I'll feel in time, but I'm really loving this. I'm reaching for it all the time, and it is Unwen from Ikirio. This is passion fruit, passion flower, musk and white chocolate, and really that kind of does describe it very, very well. Quite a powdery and, to me, coconutty, exotic tropical fruit, but very much sort of a bit powdery at the same time. I absolutely love it, reaching for it all the time. Made a huge dent, bearing in mind I've only had it a few weeks. So that is Unwen from Ikirio.
Hi, yeah, so my fragrance for tonight, and absolutely one that must be on my list, is 4160 Tuesdays, and it's called Rome 1963. So this is my fragrance for just relaxing indoors. So Rome 63 is all about white florals and tobacco, and it's resinous and very musky. It has a real vintage edge to it. It's romantic, it's sexy, it's calming, very unisex actually. Despite the white florals, there is tuberose in here, but it's not too noticeable, which is good because I'm not a fan of tuberose, but I don't really pick it out. To me it just smells like a melody of white florals, and it's beautiful but completely balanced by quite a strong tobacco note, and also there is a note of chocolate, just a tiny little hint. You really have to look for it to understand that it's there, but it's beautiful, and I will always want to have this one in my collection. That's why it's on this list.
Oh, Rome 63, how I loved thee. I really did, and I still think that I would. I ended up, didn't have a lot left in the bottle, and I gave it to my friend because she really loved it. So it was only a little bit left in the bottom, but I was overwhelmed by my fragrance collection, which has, I don't know how many I've had maximum, but I would say it's possibly gone up to sort of over 150 bottles, and that to me is too much. So I've been quite brutal with decluttering. So I wouldn't say Rome 63 is something that I don't love, but it just isn't in my top 10 for life, and it didn't survive my collection. However, after rewatching that, I kind of want to go and get a small bottle of it because I loved it for so long. So there's that nostalgia with it as well. It is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance, and I might go and get a little bottle just to have that one back in my collection. But in its place at number 9. I'm going to stick with another 4160 Tuesdays, and of course it's my collaboration with 4160 Tuesdays, and this is the Eau de Toilette version of Hush Hush. I absolutely love it. It's a violet, musk, iris, a little hint of strawberry. There's a papery cigarette box note. I've spoken about it so much that I'm not going to bang on about it now, but obviously it's very, very special to me, so of course it's now in my top 10 for life.
Hiya, it's 3 in the afternoon and it's Saturday and I'm off to a beer festival. It's being held in an oast house. My fragrance that I'll be wearing is none other than 1861 Renaissance from Xerjoff. This is perfect for a day like this because it has a very casual but so fresh feel to it. So it's still, you know, it's 3 p.m. so it's pretty hot today. It's a lovely sunny summer's day, so definitely requires something that's lighter and fresher, and this is just fruity. There's a bit of mint in there to make it really lift and just make it refreshing, but this today is just perfection. There's citruses, but there's also, to me, there's other fruits in there. I can't quite put my finger on what they are, and there's a depth to it, so there's a slightly sweet, musky, woodsy base in there as well. The fragrance does give me a full day's wearing.
Renaissance then, yes, I still have it, but the fact that this is a fresh fragrance and I still have it. Fresh is generally, I overspray a lot more than the richer, stronger stuff. The fact that I still have it means I'm not reaching for it that much. So it is no longer in my top 10 for life, but I do think it's a real nice quality cologne style fragrance. It's a bit more interesting because of that mint note. Renaissance is no longer in my top 10 for life, but I do still really enjoy it for those hot sweltering days, for something refreshing. So instead of Renaissance, I have in the number 8 spot Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee. This is probably my most worn perfume in the last year or two. I've spoken about this one a lot. Mostly I get a rich, voluptuous, very natural smelling vanilla and an exotic Ylang Ylang. There's a bit more to it. It's a little bit on the spicy side. It's very exotic. It's very tropical island. It's rich and it's sweet, but it also works on hot days. It works on cold days and all days in between, but it does give me that holiday feeling, and I really do enjoy wearing Ylang Ylang Nosy Bee. So that's my number 8.
So following the beer festival, in the evening, my choice of fragrance was this one here, which is Le Plus Beau Jour de ma vie from Guerlain. What that means in French is the best day of my life, and it's supposed to be based on a wedding fragrance. So you have the smell of the flowers, orange blossoms, also sugared almonds. It's a very sweet fragrance, perhaps a little too sweet for some people, maybe even me sometimes, but I do truly love it. It's very, very clean and innocent. There's nothing in there to make it naughty or edgy. It's just one of those when you're feeling the need for something sweet and clean and just plain beautiful, then this is the one. It's really excellent performance. It really does get noticed even hours and hours after applying it.
Okay then, so Le Plus Beau Jour de ma vie. I love this fragrance so much, but it is now discontinued. I still have this much left. It's now discontinued. It's expensive if you do manage to find it on eBay, and therefore I've decided to take it out of my top 10 for life because I probably won't replace it, but I'm never going to get rid of this. I will use it and enjoy it on special occasions because it is such a beautiful scent. So it is going out of my top 10 for life. I am replacing it with another discontinued Guerlain, but I find this is a bit easier to find. You still have to have a lot of patience, but I'm going to go with My Insolence. So it's this one. It's very important because a lot of people get mixed up. The original Insolence will only have the word insolence here. You need the word my. Some people are selling Insolence on eBay as if it's My Insolence. So I think they go and they find the
my insolence, and they sell one like this. They press the button, and actually it's not the same at all. Insolence, the original, is very violety. This is not a violet perfume, it's a fluffy, musky, vanilla, orange blossom, almonds. It's beautiful, it's very innocent and sweet and lovely. I have a backup bottle of this, and I did actually have 2 backups. Decided to sell one because my collection was so big, and you can find it if you are patient. You can find it for an okay price, but people are selling them at extortionate prices. I would urge you not to do that. You just have to be patient, but I really love it, so it is in my top 10 for life. So in at 6 is Atelier Cologne Pomelo Paradis. I cannot live without this one, and what I love about Pomelo Paradis is how it starts off so vibrant and zesty and super fresh in a kind of sour, bitter, sharp way, but with the sweetness at the same time. And then as it dries down, it gets a little bit sweeter. It feels like there might be a touch of vanilla in there, and there's definitely some other things going on. It's slightly woody, slightly musky. This is not probably the most interesting fragrance in my collection, but I just love the way it smells, and it performs really well on my skin, so this is perfect for a casual evening out with friends. Oh, my beloved Pomelo Paradis. I loved it so much for so long. I think I had a small bottle, got through that, then I got the big 200ml, and I worked my way through that really quite heavily. So over a couple of years, it really was a favourite of mine, and I honestly would still be very happy to have it back in my collection, but it is no longer on this list, and it's no longer in my collection. The bottle I had actually started to go bad. The top notes just went a bit distorted, and so I ended up with just a little bit left, having to get rid of that. And so yeah, it's not in my top 10 for life now, and I have replaced it with Belle Âme from Les Abstraits. This is a stunning iris, spicy, resinous, amazing cuddle, musky, very musky cuddle in a bottle. If you love iris and musk, but you like your fragrances a little bit more interesting with different nuances, and it is so cozy and lovely. And I've had this now, I think over a year, or about a year, and I really love it. It's from Eugene off of You Smells Good. It's his brand. Antoine Lee is a perfumer, and it is gorgeous. So yes, this is now in my top 10 for life. So in at number 5, Tobacco Rose, one fragrance I couldn't live without, so I'm wearing it today. Today, Tobacco Rose. Tomorrow, who knows? So Tobacco Rose has notes of hay, beeswax, rose, obviously. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's one of my least sweet fragrances. It's very rich, very strong. It smells resinous, maybe a tiny bit smoky, almost leathery in a way, but just gorgeous. Quite savoury is how I describe it. So I'll be wearing that one today. It lasts really well on my skin, and it's very different, and it stands out from all my other fragrances. Tobacco Rose, that was one of my very early into niche fragrances, and it holds such a special place in my heart, but I never reached for it that much after I got through one bottle, and then I got a second bottle, and I have recently finished that bottle, but we are talking a span of many years. So as much as I love Tobacco Rose, it's no longer in my 10 for life. It has been replaced with another Papillon, and that is Hera. This is a stunning mixture of very natural florals. There's jasmine, there's some other white florals, plus a stunning iris note. There's a touch of rose, and then it dries down into, it's almost like a floral amber-ish cross a chypre dry down. So there's some sweeter notes, some resins, but also a touch of oak moss, and I think there's patchouli, I think there's maybe labdanum. Beautiful, 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 very long lasting, very rich. It isn't extrait de parfum, it's expensive, it is worth every single penny in my opinion. I adore it. It's strong, it's long lasting, beautiful, beautiful aura with Hera. And so that has replaced Tobacco Rose, but I do think I will buy Tobacco Rose again at some point. But I just know that because I don't use it that often, I am not prioritizing it right now.
And this is an absolute must for my list. It's a Bois d'Harmonie from Gourmands. So it's a recent purchase, or I say recent, just a few months ago I bought it in Paris. And if I'm honest with you, actually it nearly didn't make the list, only because I was worried about putting 3 from Gourmands in the list. But actually, if I'm being real, then I have to include all the fragrances that I consider fragrances I want in my collection for life. And this one is definitely there. So Bois d'Harmonie starts off with a woodsy, resinous, sweet benzoin type smell. There's a tiny hint of floral in there, which I think might be rose. And there is a whole lot of vanilla in the base. It is the most beautiful vanilla ever. It is absolutely stunning and it lasts really well. This will last me all day long.
And so number 4 was Bois d'Harmonie. I finished up that bottle. I used it all up. By the end of it, I started to feel like it was maybe just too much vanilla, and therefore I felt that I didn't want to or didn't need to replace it. Since then, I used it up years ago now. Since then, I feel like I do want to replace it. It won't be in my top 10 for life, but it is beautiful and I do love it and I do miss it, and I have a search saved on eBay because I think if I ever come across it at a good price, I am going to be bringing it back into my collection. But it's not top 10 for life anymore, and instead I have gone for Sacred Ground from Teone Reinthal. This is a stunning sandalwood amber. It has the most, it's got a lemon myrtle note in it, which gives it a little bit of a lift and some freshness. Then it has this really rich mixture of sandalwood and resins, a beautiful vanilla. Of course, everything is all natural in here, and Teone just uses out of this world stunning materials that you will never find in modern perfumery. And it's really long lasting, really strong, and I absolutely love Sacred Ground. I don't reach for it a lot because it's quite rich and quite special as well, so it tends to get taken out on special occasions. Sacred Ground is my number 4 now.
So here's my number 3 in my list, and it is Bacio di Velluto. This is from Brigantia Perfumes. Unfortunately, it's only available in the UK at the moment, but it is one of my absolute must-haves. I really love this one. It's got ylang ylang, sandalwood, ambergris, amongst others. I think there's a peppery note in there as well, if I remember correctly. But it is just beautiful. It changes on your skin. It gives you that fragrance journey that I really adore. Couldn't live without this one. So it is in the list at number 3.
So number 3 we had Bacio di Velluto, which is from an English brand called Brigantia. A lady called Catherine Rowan is the brand owner and perfumer. And I don't know that she's still in operation. I actually just sent her a message because when I watched this video back, I remembered how much I loved Bacio di Velluto. I did finish up the bottle. I definitely really like that one. I think at the time I felt that I wasn't reaching for it enough. My collection was too overwhelming that I decided not to repurchase at that point, but in my mind I was always going to get another bottle, and then I forgot about it. So I do think I will repurchase if it's possible, if it's still available. If Catherine has any bottles lying around in her house, I will ask her if she'll sell me one, even if she's no longer operating as a business, because it's beautiful. I really did love this one. But it's not going to be top 10 for life anymore. A, because I don't even know if it's available, and B, the fact that I didn't feel the need to repurchase it immediately says that it's probably not top 10 for life. I have now replaced Bacio di Velluto with another ylang ylang perfume, and it is 31 Rue Cambon from Chanel. This one is, it's a Chypre-esque perfume. It's another one, it's in that same ballpark as Hera. It has a stunning ylang ylang,
It has a stunning iris, and then it has a bit of a sheep for dry down, but it's a little bit sweet. There's no oak moss listed. I feel like there's just a touch, just a tiny bit of oak moss. But it's beautiful, it's long lasting, it's rich, yet has some freshness. I really enjoy this one. I have talked about it before, so I'm not going to bang on about it. But 31 Rue Cambon is now my number 3.
Morning, so my number 2 fragrance on the list is none other than the absolutely stunning Iris Ganache from Guerlain. You can only get this in one shop in the whole entire world, so it's pretty damn difficult to get hold of these days. Sometimes they come up on eBay in the older bottles, the Latte Matière, but they are ridiculously priced. So it's well worth going to Paris. Just go to Paris and get some Iris Ganache. It's gorgeous. So I've got it in my atomizer here, and this came with the B bottle included in the price. And of course, it's important that I spray it on. Okay, so what is Iris Ganache all about? Obviously, it's about iris, but it's about so much more. There is a bit of bergamot in the opening, gives it just a touch of freshness, but you do immediately get that powdery, sweet iris, kind of like a violety iris to start with. And then you also get a sweetness. There's vanilla in there, quite a lot of vanilla actually. And you do notice the vanilla immediately, but it's not very strong to start with. The vanilla gets stronger and stronger throughout the fragrance. There's a note of white chocolate, and I think there's a bit of cinnamon in there as well. It's basically a rich and deep, sensuous, voluptuous perfume that I adore.
Oh, the stunning, the beautiful, the lovely Iris Ganache. How this plagued me when I first got a sample of it years ago, and at that point it was discontinued, and I so wanted it. I wanted it bad. I managed to get a decant, and then, as if by magic, Guerlain re-released it. But you had to go to Paris to get it, and actually a very kind person who lived in Paris sent me the bottle from Paris. I obviously paid for it, but they were kind enough to get to the store early because they were running out of stock. They probably had enough for 1 or 2 more bottles, and then they were done, and who knew when they were ever going to get any more. And this kind person got up early, went to the Paris store, and I had a purple B bottle filled with Iris Ganache. This is now what's left of that. I have actually used all of that. Let's see if I can show you what's left in here. That's what's left in here, but I do have a large decant that was gifted to me a few years ago, so I am good for Iris Ganache, but I'm taking it off my top 10 for life because it's now discontinued. Very, very difficult to get, and it is still beautiful, but I don't know that I need to repurchase it or try to hunt any more down when it's all gone. So I think it's coming off the top 10 for life list. It's being replaced with Unspoken Musk from Francesca Bianchi. I would put this in the same category as Belle Arme. It has beautiful musks, iris. This one has Immortelle, which is, it gives me more honey than it does curry. If you know Immortelle, it seems to have 2 sides to it. Often you get both sides, but to me I don't really get curry, thank goodness. I just get that sort of honey, maple, not honey, maple syrup kind of feel, and vanilla, beautiful, beautiful vanilla mixing with the iris. And then the dry down, mostly I feel the iris and the vanilla. Absolutely love it. It just feels like it was made for me, hence why there's only that left. I will get another bottle. I haven't worn it much in the summer because this is a very cozy scent that makes me think of cooler days. It's probably a bit cloying for hot, sweaty days. But I also wanted to show you what I've just got here. And it is the Sublime Oil. Francesca has just changed her Sublime oils and put them in these beautiful white bottles. The bottle is heavy and thick, and the oil is gorgeous. It is sublime. And it's so nice because you could totally wear this as a fragrance on these hotter days because it's not quite so strong, and it doesn't project quite so much. So I absolutely love that. Also, these oils are great because you can put them in your hair, they're good for your skin, they're moisturizing, you can wear them anywhere, and you can mix and match. You could wear this oil and you could totally wear something like Belle Alm on top, or probably all sorts of things if you just wanted to add a cozy, musky, slightly sort of spicy iris to that fragrance. So really, really love my new oil and unspoken musk in general. Absolutely love it. I want it forever. So it is my top 10 for life at number 2. Let's just check my notes. Number 2.
So here we are at my number one in my must have niche list, a fragrance that I want to have forever and ever and ever, and it's Powder and Dust from SP Parfums. Oh, how I love it. Oh, Sweetie's just jumped on my lap. That's nice, isn't it? I just love it. I've spoken about it so many times, so I'm not going to say too much except that, oh, oh wow, sorry. I think I sprayed my face a little bit. It's just pretty, it smells yellow, it smells powdery, it's got mimosa in it, it's got the most gorgeous pear note in it, and we all love a good pear, don't we? So that is it. I'm going to leave it there. Bye from me, and it's bye from Sweetie. Who's that? She is happy, she just looks a bit grumpy.
Powder and Dust, a wonderful collaboration between Sven Pritzkalate from SP Parfums and Jana from the channel Tom Elise. They did such a good job with this. I still love it. I have this, and I also have a backup bottle that were kindly gifted to me by Sven. Sven no longer creates perfumes, but he did sell the formula to Victor over at Zoologist, and it is now Cockatiel. So if you loved Powder and Dust, you can get it. I've tried it. It smells exactly the same. I don't detect any differences, and it's beautiful. So I've decided to take it out of my top 10 for life because it's not getting as much use. Maybe just because I've had it so long. Every time I smell it, I just think, wow, it smells amazing. It's so good. But I have decided to replace it with number 1, Embers from Teone Reinthal. So this is my second Teone Reinthal on this list. Beautiful. This is another sandalwood. It's mostly sandalwood vanilla. It smells resinous, but it's so smooth. This is so smooth, you would never know it's just all natural because of how smooth it is. It has the most wonderful magic vanilla bean tincture in here. I think, I can't remember where they're from now, maybe not Madagascar, Venezuela, I think it might be Venezuela. The vanilla beans Teone received from someone and made this amazing tincture. She only had so much. Anyhow, Embers, I don't really get smokiness, which you might expect from the name Embers. It's very, very smooth, vanillic sandalwood. There's a touch of rose. I don't know that I really pick it up. For me, it's resins, vanilla, sandalwood. Very, 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 very smooth. I can't emphasize the smoothness enough. I only wore this the other day. Very, very special perfume. I absolutely love it. I don't think you can get Embers anymore, but you can get Embers Renaissance, which has an added iris note. So when this is gone, I will absolutely get the Renaissance version. I haven't tried it, but I just assume it's going to be amazing. So yeah, number 1, Embers. So that's it. That's my top 10 for life now, today, 15th of September 2023. Let's see what it'll be next time. Aren't we fragrance reviewers fickle? What do you think? Are you a fragrance reviewer, or are you a frag head? Maybe you don't review perfumes. Are you as fickle as us fragrance reviewers? Because I'm pretty damn sure we're all really fickle when it comes to saying what our top favorite fragrances are, and then all of a sudden we're decluttering them. So it is funny. There is this weird incessant need to keep searching for the next best thing, and that can lead us to falling madly in lust with something and then not long later falling out of lust, selling on that fragrance to purchase something else. Very, very fickle world of fragrances. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in another one. Bye.